Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. It's Greg here again with a second update on the buddy build between me and Paul, multi-model Paul of HMS Dreadnought. I'm doing the 1915 version. As you know, Paul is doing the 1907 version. We found quite a lot of differences, mainly in the superstructure. Totally different superstructure on the top, but and other little bits and pieces as well. So I'll show you how far I've got. It's been quite a hectic sort of couple of weeks since I did the last update. I've had bits and pieces in the cave, like a couple of hours here, a couple of hours there, not a time where I could sort of sit down and do what I wanted to do, if you know what I mean, but I've got quite a lot done. So we'll start off with the stand. Well, this is just a piece of wood, nice piece of wood picked up from somewhere, varnished, and Paul kindly sent me these for the stand, and I've just used the kit nameplate to go on there when it's finished. So that's about 3 or 4 coats of varnish rubbed down between each coat, and it's got quite a nice shine on it. Quite happy with that. I think I've showed you all these. I think most of these are just self-explanatory. What's on there, we've got the part of the mast, the metal mast which we made, me and Paul's idea. These are just little greeblets that's got to go onto the ship as and when. So that's, obviously I've sprayed up the one set of the railings. As far as the superstructure is concerned, I've started on the upper deck like Paul, but I haven't got quite as far as Paul yet. So we've got this at the moment. I'll put it on the deck and you can see, maybe zoom in a bit, I think. Would be better, wouldn't it? Have a look at what we can do for me here. A lot of little fine parts on there from the front. Really a lot of little fine parts. This is the wooden deck which has been used. I've put a bit of a stain on there and a different kind of stain on the superstructure. What it says on the paint guides, I was following that, to be perfectly honest. So I'm quite happy with the masts. Sorry, the funnels. I redid them. I wasn't happy with them, so I redid them. They're a bit better now. Not brilliant, but a bit better. And you can see you've got the brass, whatever they're called, I can't remember, on top of the front, and one in the wheelhouse, which I'll show you in a minute, which I've made starting, and this is where all the lifeboats go. And there's a lot of little miniguns in there, so there's 12 pounders. Paul's idea again to paint the little 12 pounders with a bit of brass on the breech, because apparently it was brass. So I did a bit of just a knobber thing on the end there for the guns. And the little 12 pounders, it's quite, I think it's 26 6 pounders or something like that. We've got the searchlights, which have drilled out and painted silver and then dropped in. Paul uses crystal clear, mine dried up, and I only managed to get all of this glue and glaze which I got. I use that, which is a deluxe materials product. So that's kind of well, and I will at the end, I'll put a little dab of wet effects on there, so I'll make it more like a bit more glassy looking. Yeah, these aren't fastened, by the way, these are just placed in at the moment, so I know where they are. But yeah, it's coming along quite nicely. It's a totally different way of building to what I'm used to, armour. But yeah, we're getting there with that, so I'll just pop that back on there. And I'll show you the little piece of superstructure that I've put aside the bridge, which we've got here. Well, yeah, it needs tidying up a little bit. I've got railings to go along the top, and if you look in between there again, we've got 2 more of them little brass. It's where the shop, stop, go, reverse, all that kind of thing. I don't know what it's called off the top of my head, but there's one in there as well, behind the fencing as well. And what we've done here on the, because this is a plastic part, we drilled out the holes, and I use that glue and glaze again on there to make the windows. So we've got a bit of a shine on theirs again. I'll just use the wet effects just to give it more of a shine on there. So just a little bit extra in it, instead of just having the grey and a bit of wash in there, so it makes it a bit more defined. I've done it on the I should have showed you, shouldn't I, on the this part as well, near the funnel. There we go. There we are. And there's 3 on there, and I'll look on the other side. We have modern on there. They've all been drilled out. It's all plastic on there. There's no PE for that part, so we just drilled them out and glue and glaze. So let's pop that back again out of the way. And we'll bring in the hull at the moment where we are. Me and Paul are very much similar sort of stages where we are. So we've got the colour down. I've added, we've noticed on a few builds, on a few of the pictures of the Dreadnought, they have, well, pointy stickers, they have these bars. Don't know what they're for. I haven't got a clue. But I thought I'd do them, so I just did. I just got some plastic card, same stuff as we use on the part for the netting for the torpedo net, cut into size, well, working out from the size from the side of a ship. What pictures we got, I've counted 13, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12, 13. So I've got 13 of those along the sides there. Got one that needs tidying up there. It's a bit of a, I'll rub it down. Where we are? There we are. It's tidied up. I can always use weathering into that. It's not a problem. So on the bottom of here I use the Attacker anti-fouling paint, sorry, which is A25, sorry, 525 RN anti-fouling. And could I get it anywhere in the UK? Got a buggery. So it came all the way from Poland. I think that's where it's made, I think, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Warsaw, Krakow, Warsaw, Poland, yeah, so that's where it's a nice colour. It is a nice colour, I do like it. And it's, you've got to say I'm going to weather this as well, as you normally do. I don't leave things too clean, but I'll do a bit of weathering on there. And also, me and Paul have added on the torpedo nets, we've seen again, there's little bits of, presumably, high tensile steel for the arms to when they flop out with the net on. So we've added those as well with some thin, very thin wire on both sides. And we added, where is it at? Oh, it's come, has it come off? Oh no, it's there. And we added this bar as well, along which I've noticed as well, which is, where we are, there. We had that bar across there as well, a bit there. So yeah, so I'm quite happy with the hull so far. I say I haven't got the upper deck on yet. All these little, it's all sprayed, just needs tidying up, and then I'll put the wood deck on top of that as well, using the wood glue. But I'll probably do a bit of weathering first on these sides and that before I attempt to put the wooden deck on. So that's where that's at. I'm quite happy with that. Where else have we got? Oh, these are just the thing that I use with plastic card, and just masked them off and got grey and black on them as well. So there's 13 each side, so there's another 13 there to do. I just thought I'd show you those before I did the next lot. I'll put them out of the way. And we've made a start on the turrets and things. So let's pop that there. So we've made a start on the, I'll pop it there actually, on the turrets. I've used the brass barrels and made my own blast bags. These aren't finished yet, but we've also masked all this off by doing what the shipbuilders do, thousands of bits of to me tape into the squares and mask it all off so I could paint the darker grey on top of the turret. And I use a bit of wooden decking left on me, because there's wooden decking on there, well, I don't know why, but there's wooden decking apparently on there, so I used a bit of the wooden decking and stuck them on as well. These aren't finished, all weathered up yet, they're not quite finished, but look quite nice, quite happy with those. All 5 of them look okay, quite happy with the blast bags. And I've just paused a couple of the turrets as in a different direction sort of thing. You see, often quite see them when they're like that, so I'm quite happy with those, the blast bags on those as well. So yeah, I just need to top and the bottom of those. I'm going to need to put brass on the back of those little guns on the top there. That needs to be added yet, which I'll probably do today as well. So yeah, it's quite good. Happy with those. And the propellers I've used True Metal, AK True Metal Brass. That's what I've used for the paint. And it's just AK True Metal Brass AK 460. So that's what I'll be going back of the guns as well. Little 12 pounders, I put a little dab of that behind it as well. It's like an oil paste. It's more of a paste than a paint, I think. You can buff them up as well when it's dry. So what I've done is I've made the propellers. You know, when you get that sort of brass or copper or whatever it is, you get that green stain on them, don't you? I can't remember what it's called. I really can't remember what it's called, so I thought I'd just add that because instead of being too clean, so obviously I'm going to weather it, so I thought it needs to be done. I'll weather the propellers as well, so there's 4 of those like that. And all I did with those is I'll give them an undercoat first, and I use the what did I use? Oh, so the primer, just a normal grey primer, a Vallejo Ghost Grey primer, and then obviously the True Metal paint, and then I just diluted some green right down, so that's more of a filter, and just built it up gradually. So they come out quite well. So I'm happy with those. I also did this as well. I painted it up and done it and drilled it all out, and then I realised we were using the brass. There was a bit of brass for this one, for that. I showed you the Captain's Bridge, what you want to call it. So I cut all that out, done all that out, but I can use that again. I think I'm going to be doing a 1918 version along the line somewhere in Paul. So if we've got no brass for that, I'll be able to stick that in there instead. So it's done, out of the way. It just needs the glue and glaze and painting the dark colour. And we made a start on the lifeboats. I've made a slight start on the weathering on these, as you can see from the bottom of the hulls. Detailed them up with this is photo etch on the back cabin. Again, we've used the glue and glaze. Get in there on the back there. Glue and glaze on the back. Oh, that's popped out. I need to push that back in. It's square, that's white. Sort that out. Yeah, so we use glue and glaze again. So these are 90% there, but not quite. Just need a bit of weathering on there, yeah. And there's the two of those the same. Yeah, and there's a larger one as well, which is, I presume this is the barge, which takes the captain off and on or whatever, a special, which again is just the same sort of thing. It's on the larger side. Just mainly all these paints are Vallejo paints that I used. I'm probably going to change this to brass, I think, because I think that a lot of them got in their brass funnels. I could be wrong, but any picture I've found, obviously black and white, so you can't really tell, but I may do that. I'll have a look, see if any other builders have left colours or what colours have left them. So yeah, so that's those, and I've got about different sizes of boats and that, but I couldn't resist making some tarps just for the bottom. There's always like something in the back of the boat there. Again, there's just grey on the bottom. These ones, but to say that these all need weather, not yeah. I'm quite happy with those. And they're varying sizes, but they also log. Some of them go onto the sides of the big boat, some of them go onto the top of each other. Yeah, so that's where that is. I think that's about it really, from where we are now. I'm going to start doing a bit of railing again on top of the Captain's Bridge. I'm going to be doing that hopefully today, and finish the other side off with those little pieces of plastic card, just for the I don't know what they are. I presume to protect the whole side when it's in dock. It could be that, I don't know, but look, it looks okay with them on. Once I get that piece tidied up and start the weathering, and we're getting there. Most of the build it's all cut off as sprues, 90% of it, and put together. It's a matter of me now putting things, adding to the superstructure and the masts and all that kind of stuff, which I'll do near the end. And then obviously we have the rigging, the chain for the anchors, and the bits and pieces. The colour that you chose to paint the ship itself is it's a Tamiya paint, and it's XF54 Dark Sea Grey. So got a little bit left, just enough I think for this kit. It took a bit of using. Yeah, so I've used that, and I've just done a few highlights with light sea, let's say blue grey, which is XF19, and I'll do a little bit more with the medium sea grey 2 RAF XF83. So I've just got those to you know, do a few highlights and things like that, just to like I say, it's mainly I'm going to start on the weather and I think today on the hull, after I've done the other piece of the plastic, and I think we're there. Yeah, nothing else to say apart from thank you to all my subscribers, and the new ones of course, thank you very much. I'm not far off, another couple of hundred, and I think I'm at 4,000 then, so I never thought I'd get anywhere near that, but I'm going to start doing more how-tos and more sort of building in front of the camera, because I got my daughter's camera fixed. Well, I fixed it myself. It was sent off an LCD screen, and it came, and it was fairly straightforward to replace it, so I've now got a stand for it, and it's ready to rock and roll. So once I work out how to use it, then I'll use 2 cameras at some point. So I think that's where we are. I think Steve at the moment, he's not too good again. He has good weeks and bad weeks. Was due to see him a couple of weeks ago, but he became too ill to go down, so I left him, obviously, because he was back in hospital, and I was supposed to go down this week, but I couldn't go. So we've made up plans for the 28th of this month, so I'll go down on a Friday and come back on Sunday, touch wood. Must have been a touch wood, I'm going to do that. So I'll let you know once I've seen Steve and how he is and that, and I'll let you know more. Yeah, I think that's it. Oh no, it isn't, is it? No, wait a minute. We've tried various things for the torpedo net. Where are we at? Right. What I did with this, Paul sent this, it's like a netting. So what I've done, I think I've left it in here. Where did I put it? Is it in this spot? So, here we are. Paul kindly sent me some of this netting. There we are. Enough to do a fleet of ships, so it's quite fine. So he sent me that, and he's going to put a bit of brass in it to roll it onto. So I thought, well, I could try it without the brass and see if I can do anything with it. So this is what I started with. That one's a bit too big, but that one isn't finished actually. So I just got PVA glue. Was it PVA? No, it was the AK stuff. The where have I put that? It's the thing for using for the. It's like PVA. It looks like PVA, but it's for photo etch parts as well. Where the hell have I put it? I bet it's in that box there. Yeah, so that's what I've done. I rolled it as tight as I possibly could with my fingers. We got this sort of shape on there, and then I've painted it grey, obviously, and then it leaves weathered up, and it'll fit. Should sit nicely along the top of that part that we've got. And there's also another choice. Obviously, we showed you the fascinator. The metal that goes round to make it, and then I had an idea, where have I put them, maybe, of using shoelaces as well. So I've got some small thin shoelaces as well, so that's an option as well, using shoelaces. So I don't know how much paint they'll take, but they'll look okay as well. They're nice, obviously pliable as well, so I'll be sending Paul some of those off, a set of those. Yeah, so if I let's bring it down. Let's have a look. Glue it down eventually when it's all. See, that comes round there at an angle, pops out and goes round that turret, and then back in again. So I think it might work. It may work. So we've got the netting there. Oh. that may work. Yeah, so it's hopefully one of those. It took a bit of doing actually. Got to, you know, I had a mat on there, like an old chopping mat, and I stood there rolling it and rolling it and rolling it until I got it smaller and smaller and smaller until the size I wanted it. So I think it probably will work. So probably either that or the shoelaces. I'll decide near the time. Right, I'll just pop that back out of the way. Don't get damage anything on it, which it more than likely will. Not used to handling that sort of size ship, and very small compared to the 1200 scale that Paul builds. He's HMS Nelson, going to be some build. Right, I think we are there now. So once again, thank you very much for taking your time out of the day and view, and we shall see you with the next update. Hopefully not as long as this one took to bring out. So this is Greg signing off, and we'll see you very, very soon.